Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to episode 62. Today we're diving right into things as we intercept an enemy raiding party sent by House Rosenving. We've got definite range superiority this time. That should make this fight a little easier than the last time we faced one of these patrols. Weidemark starts us off, taking the ear off an enemy crossbowman. And the House Rosenving soldiers are advancing on our line. There's the enemy banner bearer. We'll want to take him down as quickly as possible. Fox cuts down the wounded crossbowman. That just leaves them with one ranged fighter. Fortunately for us, it looks like the placement of foliage is forcing the enemies to break up their formation. That should hopefully make it a lot easier to get at their more vulnerable pikemen. Okay, our frontliners are up, and since we have the definite ranged advantage, I think we'll go ahead and advance into the enemy lines. Dominic leads the charge. Of course, we are going to want to exercise caution on who we move into that particular area. That cluster of enemy pikemen is exceedingly dangerous. Most of our current frontliners are tanks. Eraton might be the one exception. He's a lower level than the other brothers. But he's also got some pretty solid combat stats, so I guess we'll have him wade in there. Rhonda starts circling around the south end of the enemy formation. Reinhardt moves up to engage the soldiers on the north. Kazarin moves around the south with Rondis. Janos engages the soldiers on the north. And the enemy crossbowman runs. Sounds about right. Vlad steps up to make a quick attack. And round two. Our archers are up. Alessandro cuts down an enemy pikeman with two quick hits, then puts another arrow through a pikeman's arm. Weidemark cuts down another pikeman. Fox puts an arrow through a pikeman's shoulder. House Rosenving soldiers are fighting back, but so far we're turning aside all of their attacks. Henry moves into attack position and punctures the chest of a wounded pikeman. Kazarin moves up to engage. He punctures the hand of the enemy soldier facing him. Rondis cuts down the soldier in front of him with two quick dagger strikes. Dominic punctures another soldier's arm, then kills him with a follow-up strike. Reinhardt pierces a soldier's shoulder. Janos readies his great hammer, but can't get past his foe's shield. Moving into round three. The enemy crossbowman reloads and retreats. Our archers are up. We don't have much chance of getting past the enemy's shields, but we can still keep them suppressed. Weidemark puts an arrow through a soldier's arm. And our soldiers actually did a pretty good job of wearing down the enemy banner bearer. He'll probably be dead by next turn. Henry cuts down the last of the enemy pikemen. Just one billman left standing. Eraton moves up and makes short work of that billman. then moves to engage the enemy banner bearer. Vlad tears into an enemy soldier on the north. Kazarin begins pursuing the fleeing crossbowmen. Rondis readies his greatsword, but can't get past his foe's shield. Dominic moves up to support him. Janos crushes a wounded soldier on the north, moves up to engage the banner bearer, and punctures the man's hand, breaking his morale. Reinhard pierces an enemy soldier's leg. Moving into round 4. The crossbowman foolishly takes a shot at Kazarin, which will leave him within attack range. Our archers start moving up to fire through the ranks. Henry puts the enemy banner bearer on death's door. And Eraton finishes the job. Vlad puts another enemy soldier on the brink of death. Kazarin moves up, engaging the enemy crossbowman, promptly puncturing the man's kidney. Rondis guts the soldier in front of him. These soldiers with the swords are being awfully defiant. They keep going into counterattack stance. Reinhard cuts down one of the other soldiers instead, and will probably bombard these swordsmen with ranged attacks in a second. Round 5. Our archers are up and the bombardment begins. The northern soldiers' morale is broken. Alessandro cuts down the northern soldier with another volley of arrows. The soldier on the south is going down fighting. He lands a very light hit on Rondis' armor. Kazarin finishes off the enemy crossbowmen, and Eraton swiftly puts an end to the fight. Looks like Bunny hits level 13, Eraton hits level 8, and MVP goes to Eraton with 3 kills. Nice work. The loot looks halfway decent. We'll take a moment to pick through it, and then we'll get back to town so we can take on a proper contract. A man walks the road with a shovel bobbing over one shoulder and a sack of dirt swinging in the other hand. When you inquire as to what he is doing, he says he's just buried his brother and he's on his way back to Dornan. The sack holds some of the dirt where his kin was laid to rest. Respectable. The man looks weary as a man who has buried his sibling would understandably be. Perhaps sensing your pitying gaze, he asks if maybe he can stay with your company for a time. Well, I don't see why not. Join us by the campfire tonight. You sit about the fire. Much talk is made about this or that, but the traveler does speak some words which reside within your mind long after he's gone. I saw a man cut down by lightning a few months ago. Tobjorn was his name. He had a lumber mill for a mouth, a wooden bite from side to side. Termites for teeth, we used to say. Anyway, I'd found his head aflame, grinning hot fire back at me, his flesh curled down in strips of black and purple. The ground around him was scorched, smoke drifting around and little fires crackling, but he was still alive, so I ran off to get some help when I heard a horrid noise behind me. Damned lightning struck him again. Smoked by the gods through and through. Well, may he rest in peace. Oh, I guess that's it. What an odd event. I don't think that actually does anything. I think it was just there to add a little flavor, and I can appreciate that. At any rate, we're back in friendly territory, so let's take care of some trading and then we'll find some work. You meet with one of Count Halston von Ravenholt's guards, who takes you to the man personally. He's roosted in a small room that must be a sort of cubby away from the annoyances of the world. A candle flickers as he flips through a book. He speaks without looking at you. "Hello, sellsword. My field commander, Sir Wolfhart, has sent me a little bird that the armies of House Eisenstein may be coming together. He believes we have a chance at ending this war once and for all." The nobleman licks his thumb and slowly turns a page. He continues, "I want you to go and join him. Naturally, your pay will accommodate what you have to offer, which I suspect is quite a lot." A great battle, you say? Well, the pay is certainly good, almost 4,000 crowns. Alright, we'll take the job, but it does put us at odds with another noble house. Oh, and the war camp is right there. Alright, we'll pay a quick visit to Weidemark and Gronenfest, then we'll go meet up with Sir Wolfhart. And we're back. We're on our way to Weidemark, but on the way there we spotted this enemy raiding party. We could just let the dogs of war handle it, but this raiding party is being led by a knight, so I figured we'd cut in and take care of it ourselves. This is definitely going to be a tougher fight. They've got us outnumbered by 5 men, and we're about even on the ranged front. The terrain is also pretty awkward, so that might end up complicating things a bit. Let's start by trying to pick off some of those crossbowmen. Ooh. Roderick immediately takes a crossbow bolt in the face. We're already down a man. And our archers weren't able to land a single shot. We're not off to a good start here. Now the enemies are advancing on our position. Brace yourselves, raiders. Rowan takes aim, but he's facing a sea of shields. Oh, but he lands a lucky shot, piercing the hand of the enemy banner bearer. Roderick is in bad shape, so we need to pull him back immediately. The enemy pikemen are advancing. Alright, raiders, let's do some damage. Oswald leads the charge. He hacks the ear off the soldier facing him. Igot quickly moves up as well. Dominic moves up to engage an enemy pikeman, puncturing the man's arm. And there's our first enemy knight, Sir Leberecht. That's some nice armor. I think we'll take it. Unfortunately, our brothers are stalling out on their front line. And Igot just took a moderate hit from another crossbow bolt. Oof. Bunny's got a punctured lung, so she needs to fall back as well. Woe just sliced open an enemy soldier's arm. Round 2. Our archers are up and ready to return fire. Fox swiftly cuts down an enemy crossbowman. We could move for cover, but we've got pretty solid range defenses. Alessandro pierces a crossbowman's side. Wojtek hits the wrong target and ends up piercing a pikeman's throat. Bunny definitely needs to fall back, but she'll take a quick shot first. Oh, and she pierces a crossbowman's shoulder. Nicely done. The enemies consolidate their formation. Igot takes another light hit. Reinhard gets knocked out of position. Roderick moves back into an even more defensive position. Rowan mows down a pikeman. Dominic takes a modest hit from an enemy billhook. Oswald cuts down a soldier, then continues advancing. Woe moves to provide cover for some of our archers, and Sir Leberect moves up to engage Oswald in battle. Agat cleaves open a soldier's leg, then finishes him off with his dagger, before piercing another soldier's leg as well. Dominic cuts down an enemy pikeman, then tries to advance through the enemy formation, but he's blocked by a soldier. Kazarin hacks into another enemy soldier, piercing his arm and shoulder. Reinhard moves up to engage, piercing a soldier's chest. Round 3. Time for another volley. We've got a crossbowman in elevation. Wojtek puts arrows through a crossbowman's shoulder and knee. Oof. And Dominic takes another nasty hit. His armor is starting to wear a bit thin. Oh, well, okay. The enemy billhookmen just pulled Dominic right into their formation. Reinhard took a light hit there. Ah, and there goes the rest of Dominic's armor. He's definitely in trouble. Oswald takes a light hit to the helmet. And we get a chance to fight back. Oswald readies his greatsword. He slices open an enemy crossbowman's leg, but takes a hit in return. Agat moves up. He readies his great axe and cleaves open the enemy banner-bearer's midsection. Kazarin finishes off an enemy soldier, but he's too exhausted to press the assault. Reinhard continues holding the north. He pierces a soldier's foot, breaking the man's morale. A soldier tries to flee, and Agat brutally cuts him down. Spying an opening, Roderick starts moving towards the north. Dominic's in a bad spot, so we'll put him on the defensive for now. We'll have to keep an eye on Oswald's armor as well. Moving into round 4. Our archers are up, and we really do need to do something about those enemy crossbowmen. Bunny puts an arrow through a billman's leg, then draws a bit of return fire. Wojtek pierces another billman's neck. There we go. Alessandro cuts down an enemy crossbowman. Woe cleaves open an enemy's artery. Rowan cuts down another enemy billman. Roderick starts circling the enemy formation on the north. Fox cuts down the last billman and a crossbowman. And he just pierced the last crossbowman's shoulder. Very nice. I think we may have just turned the tide here. Oswald is up. He He cuts down an enemy soldier, then squares off with Sir Leberecht. Cuts down the enemy banner bearer. Kazarin moves up, engaging the enemy knight, but he takes a quick moment to cut down the last crossbowman. With no armor left, Dominic decides to pull out of the fight. One of the last soldiers tries to flee, and splits his shoulder wide open. Woe moves up to support the north. Rowan does as well. Starts heading south, eager to face off with the enemy knight. And moving into round 5. Our archers are up. We'll try to pick off a few shots. Roderick moves in. He drives his dagger into a soldier's side, breaking the man's morale. Half of our brothers move in to finish off the remaining soldiers, while the rest of our brothers stay focused on the knight. Fox puts an arrow through a man's hand. Rowan executes a fleeing soldier. Oswald takes a moment to recover his breath. Moves in, engaging with Sir Leberecht. Kazarin lunges for an opening, putting his dagger through the knight's shoulder. Nice. Reinhard cuts down the last of the enemy soldiers, then starts heading to the south. Our archers will hold back at this point. We don't want to damage the knight's armor any more than we need to. Moving into round 6. It will all be over in just another moment or two. Woe readies himself for battle, moves to engage the knight. Roderick starts circling as well. Exhausts himself. Kazarin pierces the knight's hand. Nice. Dominic engages. Reinhard engages as well. Moving into round 7. Roderick races Woe, but Woe fills the last gap, fully surrounding the enemy knight. Oswald lands a solid hit, breaking Sir Leberecht's morale. And Kazarin finishes the knight off. Nicely done. Oof, that was definitely a hard-fought victory. We suffered a couple of pretty nasty injuries here, but at least Rowan got a level out of it. And MVP goes to... looks like a 3-way tie. 4-way tie. Wow. Now let's see if we actually got the knight's equipment. There's his fighting axe. Ah, there we go. There's his decorated full helm. That's definitely a nice find. And we got his coat of scales as well. That's actually the second best non-unique armor in the game. Well, it was a tough fight, but it was definitely worth it. We'll take a moment to pick through the loot, then we'll head over to Weedfest to get these injuries looked at. And we're back. We just reached Weidemark, and it looks like there's already an enemy raiding party on site. They've already taken down some of the outlying structures, so we need to move quick to stop them from doing any more damage. Fortunately, we're only up against 9 enemies this time. This should be a much easier fight than the last couple we've been through. Our archers are up. Potato puts an arrow through an enemy crossbowman's leg. Mark puts an arrow through another crossbowman's hand. The soldiers begin advancing, using the trees as cover. Wojtek finishes off a crossbowman. Alessandro's too far away to fire on the other crossbowmen, so he goes for the pikemen instead. Oh, but he gets the crossbowman anyway. Nice shot. At this point, we have complete range superiority, so our frontliners can just charge right into the battle. Eraton puts 2 throwing axes and a pikeman. Kazarin moves up, engaging a soldier. Reinhard moves up as well, looking pretty swanky in his new armor. Rondus moves up, putting his dagger through a pikeman's side. Janos moves up as well, as does Bellefontaine. Vlad steps up, tearing off a soldier's ear. Round 2. Our archers are up, so they begin bombarding the enemy pikemen. Mark puts an arrow through a pikeman's face, and Wojtek finishes him off. With no open shot, Wojtek hops up onto elevation, then puts an arrow in the enemy banner bearer. Alessandro starts advancing, looking for an open shot, and he dings the banner bearer as well. The enemy soldiers go on the defensive. Henry breaks a soldier's morale. Kazarin readies his dagger, then moves up to engage the enemy banner bearer, piercing his arm and then killing him with a follow-up strike, before driving his dagger into a soldier's side. Eraton starts heading north. Bellefontaine pierces a pikeman's shoulder. Reinhard takes stock of his opponents, but their defenses are pretty high. We'll pass for the moment. Rondus readies his greatsword, cutting through the remaining pikemen like a scythe through wheat. Janos flanks the soldiers on the north. We're almost done here, so we'll just do some quick end-of-round maneuvering. And I guess at this point, we might as well take our chances with Reinhard. Ooh, there we go. He lands a lucky hit, piercing an enemy soldier's hand. Our archers will take a few pot shots, but I think they're pretty much done here. Henry pushes the southern soldier to the brink of death. Vlad cuts down a wounded soldier, then pierces another soldier's leg. Janos moves up, engaging the last soldier on the north. He puts his dagger through the man's hand, then kills him with a second strike. That just leaves us with one more foe on the field, and he's already broken. Our brothers start methodically cutting the final soldier apart. And it looks like Reinhardt finishes the job. Henry hit level 13. And it looks like MVP is a two-way tie between Rondis and Wojtek. The loot's nothing spectacular, but we should get at least 1,000 gold for this stuff. We'll grab everything and sell it off in Weidemark. Then I think it's time to head north so we can finally meet up with Sir Wolfheart. Hey, RetconRaider here. The war is beginning to escalate and things are only going to get more difficult from here. We're starting to see enemy raiding parties on a pretty frequent basis, and they're getting large enough to start putting up a pretty tough fight. That means we're going to need to start picking and choosing our battles more carefully in the future. Now that House Rabenholt is being attacked from two sides, we're also going to have to divide our attention between offense and defense. If the enemy forces manage to capture or destroy Weidemark, then we're going to have a hard time keeping the raiders properly supplied. Next time, we'll be heading north to meet up with Sir Wolfheart in the fields just outside of Firthwacht. This is going to be our first full-fledged military action, and we'll be up against a series of 2 or 3 increasingly difficult battles as we help Sir Wolfheart repel House Eisenstein's forces. We'll be up against a lot of mercenaries, soldiers, and at least 1 or 2 more knights. So, rest up while you have the chance, raiders. Tomorrow, we're going to war. This is RetconRaider, signing off. Thanks for watching. Oh, and remember, although I do love playing Battle Brothers, you can find out more about the game by visiting the official website or the FanRun wiki. Links are in the description.